He Skyped with YouTuber Melvin Cedeno on his YouTube channel, iCkEdMeL Live. Joe Vence vehemently defends his son.
I know he didn't do nothing to her because he loves her. You know, he been taking care of her since she was 1 year old. She told my son, like, the night of, like, I'm about to get a Lifetime movie off of it. Why would you leave your child at home with him if he's doing all of these things? He does the laundry.
Okay.
He cleans the house. He cooks. He takes the kids to daycare. He does all of those things. I believe my son is innocent.
Derion Vence's dad
Thanks, Joe, for coming on.
told YouTube's iCkEdMeL channel.
My son is sitting in jail right now, devastated about his stepdaughter is missing.
In this 40-minute interview, interviewer Melvin Cedeno
There was a few things that didn't kind of, align with what we've been told. It's a father that's standing up for his son.
Cedeno wanted to hear Vence's side. Hundreds of viewers did too. More than anything, he's hoping all the chatter online helps find Maleah.
What's up? It's iCkEdMeL. Today was just a roller coaster for me. A roller coaster of emotions for me. KHOU reached out to me. They used part of the interview with Joe Vence in the 5 o'clock segment. If you want to see the full clips, I'll post the link down below. You can check out KHOU. They posted the videos over there. Tonight, I had a full interview with a reporter from KHOU. And I just want to say thank you to Joe, thank you to KHOU and the people that have been responding. I literally deleted 10 minutes of video because you know what? Let's skip all the blah, 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 and let's just get straight to the full interview that I'm going to share with you guys. You comment down below, let me know your thoughts.
I chose you because, you know, you looking at both sides of the coin.
So I was asking the detective about some of the things that Mr. Vence was telling you in your interview. Namely, it was interesting to me that supposedly Derion only worked 3 days as a temp in a mailroom and never had a mail route.
I was really surprised about that, yeah.
Yeah. What the detective told me is that they confirmed with the Postal Service that they are confident he actually did work a route for a period of time. They did not tell me how long. But he said that they would not have sent volunteers there on a lurch, and that they did confirm information with the U.S. Postal Service about his work on a route there.
Yeah, I was really surprised about that because, yeah, that's the whole reason the whole search was based in those areas.
Right. So when Mr. Vence said that, I thought, boy, that would be intriguing. But again, that's just what I was told, or whatever. I mean, it was a 48-minute interview.
Yeah, I made a shorter interview. Like I stayed up to like 3 in the morning, and I made this 20-minute interview compacted because I that's really long, and I know a lot of times the audience doesn't want to watch like a super long video. So I made another one that I posted today.
Can you tell me your name, how to spell it, and how to pronounce it?
My name is Melvin Cedeno, so it's MELVIN CEDENO, Melvin Cedeno.
Melvin, how did you get the interview with Joe Vence?
Joe, he reached out to me, I think it was Friday night, and he emailed me, and he said he was interested in doing an interview with me. I was a little skeptical at first. I thought maybe it was a hoax.
Why? Why were you skeptical?
Well, to be honest, the email, the name was spelled like DERRION, which was the first time I seen it spelled like that. But I know the name was actually reported incorrectly the first time too. It was DARRION, and then I thought it was corrected by the media and it was like DERON. So I don't know what's going on with that. So that was a little bit of a pause, but he sent me his social media links, and he also sent me for like pictures of Derion's injuries.
What did you get from those photos? At one point during the video, you asked him about those. He said they were taken at the hospital, and then sort of said, well, somewhere around them. What did you get out of those photos? Well,
I mean, I used to work I've done hospital for like over at least 10 years. So I've done a lot of experience in there, but you can tell from the pictures too, if you look at the sides and stuff, and the laundry basket that was in one picture, and like there was some sort of outside decoration that it wasn't in a hospital. So I questioned him about that, and he said, well, maybe it was taken somewhere else. The other interesting thing that he said was that Brittany Bowens took the pictures. So I thought that was kind of interesting too. And the injuries, I mean, because the whole in and out of consciousness for 24 hours, I mean, I'm not a medical expert, but I mean, I don't know that you could be, from what I saw, it looked like scratches and like kind of, nothing that serious. But the father said that supposedly Darion's head was banged into, I guess, the car or something like that, and that's where the head injury came from. And
What stood out most to you about this interview? 2 or 3 or however many things.
I would say one would be the whole post, the whole mail route post thing. That this was the first time that he said he didn't even go on a route. That he was 3 days. It was a temp job. The other thing that stood out to me too was the blood thing that was mentioned. That he says that it was Maleah's brother's blood, not actually Maleah's. So that was the first time I heard of that. The other thing that stood out was, well, the CPS history too. That was pretty interesting because I didn't know that when Maleah was first taken, she was actually with Brittany and Derion, and they were staying with Brenda, which is Brittany's mother. So they were actually in that household when the whole injury happened. And it's been reported that the grandmother had to tell them to take Maleah to the hospital. That's when CPS got involved. And they lost like custody of the kids, or temporary custody. They said Brenda tried to get custody, she couldn't. And what was really that stood out to me in this interview was apparently that the father said, Joe, that those kids actually were staying with Darion's mother. And if it's reported, from what I've seen a lot of reports, that it's reported that she stayed with relatives, the girl and the brothers. So I didn't know that. I don't know if a lot of people knew that or not. I was really surprised about that. It stood out to me too that why didn't the father get custody, the biological dad? That was a little weird to me too. And the other thing that stood out too was we talked about the gay pictures, supposedly, that she was upset about. Well, the father said it actually wasn't that it was he was texting a woman. And that's what set her off. So, it was a lot of allegations thrown around from both sides.
Yeah, the first two that you mentioned about the blood, and also, what was the other thing you mentioned off the top? You mentioned the blood and then the mail route. Yes.
Yeah.
The police, Houston police, have a different version of that. They said that they've confirmed to the Postal Service that he did have a route of some sort. They also say that they did test for familial connections with that DNA in the blood.
Really? Because I saw there was I saw one report that said there was a DNA match, so I was kind of surprised about that. But he said it's the brothers.
Yeah, the police are saying that's not the case. What is your read on what you heard from Mr. Vence? And obviously, I'm telling you something that the police said is different. But what is your read, having spent so much time in an interview with him, on what he's saying?
For me, from what I took from this, was I wanted to present the other side of what nobody's been hearing. We've only been hearing Brittany. And what I look at it as is it's a father that's standing up for his son. There was a few things that didn't kind of, align with what we've been told. But it also painted a picture, or it gave us a lot of details we didn't know about. I think that CPS history is pretty important. He also said that there was more CPS history than we know about. I don't know if that's true. I don't know if that's possible. But to me, he's a father that's trying to stand up for his son, and that, I've seen many cases where somebody's, let's say, allegedly guilty or whatever, but the parents still stick by their child. I think it was a good thing because we get to hear a little bit, because Derion can't speak, so we get to hear a little bit of the other side. And the mother, to me, she seems very suspicious to me. There's just so many questions, and it's unfortunate because this is really about Maleah, and it's just so many contradictions. We can't get any kind of honesty, and she's still missing.
Well, that's good, man. That's a solid interview. I appreciate your time. Is there anything else you want to add that I did not ask of?
The only thing, there was one allegation that was interesting too, that was made in that video, which was the first time I heard about it. Was Joe, the father, said that allegedly Brittany punched Maleah one time. I don't know where he got that from. I don't know how true that is, but I just thought that was interesting too.
I appreciate that, man.
All right, thanks. Appreciate it.
Good work at the interview, and I appreciate it.
Thanks. I definitely got a lot to work on, man. I looked back at it several times, and there's a lot to improve on, but I appreciate it.
Yeah. One last thing: the response that you've heard or read from this interview.
The response has been mixed. Most people, from what I've seen, and it's been hundreds of comments, like over 1,000, like hundreds. Most people believe that Derion had something to do with this. That's what they believe, but they also believe that Brittany was somewhat involved also. And the interesting thing, from what I heard from reports, is that the whole hospital story, which there was contradictions on that, because at once Derion said he walked there. Then I heard another report that he said an unknown female dropped him off. And then I heard another report that police had footage that the car he claimed was stolen was seen on footage dropping him off at the hospital. I don't know how true that is, but I saw a news media outlet report that. So if that's the case, then there's more than one person involved in this story. And the thing ultimately too, what a lot of people are saying, okay, it's not just Derion, it's not just the mother, it's a lot of people that let this girl down. From CPS, right, with the I don't know how they would, I guess they wanted to reunite her with the family, how they would send her back. From the hospital where she had multiple visits, she was lethargic. I've been in a hospital. If a child young, they have a head concussion, they hit themselves, they're throwing up, they're lethargic, they should be doing a CT scan. I found out she went multiple times. They didn't do it until the last time, where she was like vomiting, throwing up. So there has been so many places that this little girl was failed. And I'll tell you one final thing too. My daughter the other day, when I was working on this video, I had Maleah's picture on the screen, and my daughter was sitting on my lap, and she looked at Maleah and she pointed at her and she said, Madison, that's my daughter's name. Maleah looks so much alike like my daughter, and it was kind of freaky to me, and it just like, it made me kind of sad, and it was really surreal to see her pointing at that little girl, calling her Madison.
So are you a journalist, sort of? What are you? How do I describe you?
I'm a YouTuber, and I've just been on this weird journey where I started from baby products to covering stories. And I don't know that I could call myself a journalist, because there's people that are really professionals like you guys that really like study it. And I love covering these kind of stories, especially with kids involved. I don't know what I am. I'm just on this YouTube journey. One day I would like to make this a career, hopefully reporting and covering stories and making like a difference. That's what I want to get to. Ultimately, I want to get to the point where like there's a missing girl, a missing boy. I can talk about it and it makes waves. Right now, I have to stick to the story that's popular in order to maybe kind of make waves, So hopefully one day I can do that.
Very good. Well, wish you luck. Thanks.
You,
my man.
Tell them to subscribe. How many subscribers do we need? I say 15,000. 15,000 subscribers. 15,000. That's what baby says, my baby girl.